Great day, good people. I haven't done one of these kind of get to know you messages in a while, or and maybe this will turn into the update video. But most of what I was trying to do is just introduce myself. And so my name is Jesse Ross. I have many titles. What I like to tell people is I'm just a community member that loves people, loves business, and loves my family. I have been on this journey of entrepreneurship for a while now. I've always been a person that's been involved in community, always been a person that has loved people, and the way that I engage with folks kind of determines my level of involvement inside of those organizations and just institutions. And so I do a lot of work around diversity, equity, inclusion. I do a lot of work around anti-racism and racial equity, but I also do a lot of work around building businesses and building communities and recognizing how do we get resources to the folks that need it the most, and the folks that have it want to be connected but they don't usually have relationships. And so being that bridge, being that connector, being the conduit to finding out opportunities of how to create a better world, so that when I leave this place it's better left. It's left better than when I found it. And so super excited about that. Have family, 5 kids, 6 if you count my nephew, all the way from the age of 8 all the way up to 21. And so very grateful for the opportunity to serve you and to serve with you through a various means of connecting. Some of you see some of these videos in social media, my morning minutes. Some of you read articles. Some of you are subscribed to my newsletter. Some of you follow me on social. And actually we have engagement, and some of you just know me through other people who've shared my stuff. I'm always grateful that people are willing and able to share some stuff that I put out and some thoughts. And I'm really just about figuring out how to create change, how to create change in our community, how we create change in the world, in the systems and structures that are not built for women and people of color, and for folks that are disabled, who or anybody who identifies as a diversity or has a diversity mention. I'm trying to figure out how do we create a place and a space for them to thrive, and we will do this by a multitude of ways. And so that's kind of me in a nutshell. Super excited to be able to engage with you, but also recognize that this is a journey. And so I hope you are willing and able to jump alongside and come along with me. Second thing I'd like to, one of the other things I'd like to mention to you is recognizing that right now, at this moment, the time of this recording, I'm in the middle of this thing called the 100 Drip Challenge. Now, backstory, I started an e-commerce coffee brand called Intentional Drip 2 years ago. And the reason why I started was basically recognizing that I was doing these anti-racism conversations calls, Zoom calls, where I'm on with people like you, and everybody that I would meet with on a Saturday morning had a cup. Now, I don't know if people actually had cups, had coffee or water or tea or other stuff, but I'd see these consistently, and I recognize, man, if I'm going to have these calls, I have to create something that's going to be sustainable when the calls stop. And since then, they have decreased tremendously. But over a good 2 years, right, we were meeting, building community, having conversations about anti-racism and what does that look like. And eventually, out of that idea came, hey, is there something like coffee that I could create that could be sustainable, but there's a market for it? And also, the model would be different, not just consumer to consumer or business to consumer, I'm sorry. It would be recognizing that businesses and industries and companies always should be striving to be anti-racist, or should be striving to have a supplier diversity program, or should be striving to figure out how to spend their money with minority-owned businesses. And if I'm going to help them on the training aspect, maybe I can leverage those relationships and help them on the business aspect. And so, again, office managers, small companies, manufacturing designers, whatever that may be, maybe drinking coffee is something that a small way that they can start to kind of infiltrate how they spend their money, how they think about their vendors, how they engage with local owned businesses that happen to be also black owned as well. If we're going to change the wealth gap and change how things are financially for people of color, for women, for all the groups that are not set up for success, then maybe there's a way to do that through the economics. And that's kind of how I started in getting into it. And so if you, one slight plug, if you own a company that is interested in you all drink coffee, I have some coffee to sell. Would love to get you some. Send me a message, and I'll make sure we take care of that. The second thing, though, is recognizing that through my work of training and development, and recognizing that the world is going to continue to shift, and the term DEI is overused and outdated at this point. There was an opportunity for me to find a way to build another stream, another avenue to not only make money, but to build something that can be sustainable. So be intentional, hence the name, about our conversations. Be intentional about the decisions that we make. Be intentional about how we build this company, so that if it's a B2B model, the same energy that it takes for me to sell you one bag of coffee, I can sell 50 or 200 or 300 and be able to supply more people to be able to make more revenue. But on the back end that you don't see, I'm being intentional about creating jobs. I'm being intentional about creating jobs for folks that have not been thought of, right? And so justice impacted folks, thinking about folks that might be single parents or kind of having a hard time navigating and getting job experience. Maybe there's an opportunity for me to create some businesses within my own community, within my own structure, and now within my own commercial real estate property that can sustain families, that can create opportunities to provide living wages, that can also generate income for them to stimulate the economy and to show them that there is an opportunity, and I'm just one part of a huge puzzle. So that's kind of the short but long backstory around the coffee. We're in the intentional drip, the 100-day drip challenge right now, where I'm pushing myself to sell 100 bags of coffee in 30 days, simply because I told myself that I could not do two things at once. I couldn't, promote my brand and promote the intentional drip. I couldn't work on real estate and promote intentional drip. And while some of that may be true, some of that I also recognize I was being lazy. I was being comfortable. And so I'm in the middle of that. If you want to find out more information, you can go to intentionaldrip.com. We have 4 beautiful blends that I think you would love, and I'd love to send you a bag. And I'm just so excited that you are here with me in this journey. So that is one of the things that I've done. One of the next things I want to talk about is the ability to connect with people. Man, I'm so grateful that the social capital that I have built over my lifetime, connecting with people, showing up and asking people to do things, and people actually do them, providing an opportunity to create solutions instead of continue to talk about the problems. Man, people in my network show up, and most of the time I may drop the ball to get them connected, but still the intention is there. And so I'm so grateful, so thankful for you and for people like you who continue to show up, who continue to pour into what I'm doing, who continue to help and to challenge me to think outside the box. This is where those ideas come from. And so I just wanted to make sure I said thank you, because a lot of you connect with me on a bunch, on so many platforms in so many different ways. And I just wanted to say thank you, because I think it's important for you to know how impactful it has been for me. One of the next things I wanted to talk about is recognizing that most recently this year, I purchased a commercial real estate property. Man, one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, and didn't set out to become this real estate guru at all, but met a wonderful now friend and business partner who kind of said, "Hey, you'd be good at this. What do you think about this? Let's figure out how to do this." And I trusted her, and she trusted me, and we built this really dope relationship that landed me at this 68,000 square foot commercial space that is a good portion of it is industrial and a good portion of it is office, right in my community, about 5-6 minutes away from my house. And I'm so grateful and so thankful for the opportunity. Now, here's the thing. First step was just creating ownership from someone from the community, someone that looks like the community. Ta-da. Second step was being able to create space and maybe and hopefully affordable space for business owners, for opportunities, for people who to have opportunities to lease in affordable commercial space. Now, if you know anything about what's happening right now at the time of this recording, industrial in the industry right now in the market is amazing, but um, office not amazing. And so it's hard to create a space for, let's just say, industrial when there are not a ton of women and people of color in industrial. Now, it's not that there aren't any, but the majority of folks that are in industrial are not women and people of color. The majority of people who need space typically need office space, but the market for office right now is terrible. And so it's a balance of how do you find and create space for people who can pay rent, but also if they can't afford to pay what you would like to get, you got to keep the lights on, you got to be able to pay your mortgage, you got to be able to pay your bills, and is there an opportunity to like offset some of the different needs of the building by having different rent rates for different spaces and different groups of people? It's way more complicated than that, but it's something that I've thought about. And at the same time, me being an out of box thinker is recognizing that maybe there's an opportunity to do what people are doing in suburban communities or in well affluent communities and bring those models with a slight twist to the Minneapolis area, to North Minneapolis, to my building. And so it's just taking a lot of maneuvering, a lot of navigating, a lot of thought processes, a lot of having conversations with people to see, is this possible? But I think that that's the point. If you don't get to the question, is this possible, then you never get to the idea that could be or shouldn't be or we could if we could, right? You just got to be able to continue to think. And that's one thing that I continue to do and continue to learn from people like you and continue to learn from folks that I follow and folks that I'm connected to, taking good advice and good opportunities, but also creating things that may not be existed but could be beneficial if there is a model attached to it. And so again, just another thing to be thinking about. And then maybe one of the last things I will share is every holiday season, and right now we are in the holiday seasons, I find about 40, 50, 60 families to serve who might need help around the holidays. And so we're in the last week of kind of recruiting some of what we call, the initiative is called Gratitudes and Gifts. And what we do is we recruit families that are receivers, families that need help, support, whatever that may be. They fill out a list, they write out what they want with the demographics of their kids and their families. And then we pair them up with a holiday gift giver, who's a person who wants to buy some gifts for families. And so it's really cool to see the connections between those worlds. Again, in the beginning, hopefully you heard, being that bridge, being that connector, being the conduit that creates opportunities for the people who have and the people who have not, the people who need and the people who don't need as much. Being able to connect them and create an experience for people to do something and receive something that makes their heart warm and melt and that will live with them hopefully forever. That is what I'm interested in doing. And so if you are one of those folks that want to be one of the givers, want to support a family and want to help out in the community, I would love for you to sign up on the list. So we have plenty of families that need help, and so there's never an opportunity where we don't need people to serve. Now, my only ask is if you are gonna be someone who's gonna serve, who's going to buy some gifts, that you don't. If you haven't known anything about my brand, listen, we're not going to be taking pictures. We're not going to be posting all on social media, like, look at me and this family. Now, you can talk about what you're doing and why you're doing it for sure, but we're not going to, like, exploit the opportunity. We're not going to exploit families. And so just in case you share this with somebody, I wanted them to be able to hear that as well. But yeah, it's just a wonderful opportunity for us to be connected and to find ways to show up in the lives of people that just otherwise would not be able to have the same type of holiday if they had the opportunity to. So if you're interested in doing that, I'd love for you to join. But the last thing I want to say, and I'm hoping that this is the last thing, I'm really grateful for this season of life. Um, on the outside, man, things, let me just say it, on the inside, things are happening that you have no idea. And not all of them are amazing. I can't account on how many funerals I've been to, how many messages I get about people really struggling and going through it, how um, what my bank account looks like right now. Just like this is a tough season behind the scenes, and not that I hide that stuff, but some of that stuff just has to be personal. But there's a lot of stuff that most people don't know is going on, and the beautiful part about that is, even though all these things are happening, even though there are feelings and things about community and a circle of friends, and again, finances not being amazing, even though all that's happening, man, I feel really, really good about where I'm at. And that is something I'm, continuing to talk to God about, but also I know I'm in the place I'm supposed to be. And there's something to say about thinking about your purpose, thinking about um, what you feel like you are supposed to be doing, and what you would really like to be doing, and what you're called to be doing, and the thing that might come really, really easy to you, but something that's really difficult for other people. With all the things happening, I'm so grateful that I am exactly where I am. I'm learning consistently. I'm challenging myself. I'm picking up stuff. I'm able to display and to show up in the lives of a lot of people without a ton of pressure, because I get the opportunity to, right? I'm just thankful for the community, including you, right? If you made it all the way to this video, the end of this video, man, you are someone who actually cares. And I'm very grateful for that. I don't take that lightly. And so, and the season of life is tough, but it's really, really good. And I'm hoping that as it gets easier, it stays really, really good as well. I don't want to become complacent. I don't want to become comfortable. And there are a few areas in my life where I recognize that I am. But I also want to make sure that I remind myself and keep at the forefront the why and the purpose of doing what I'm doing. One, because my book of faith, um, I just believe that I'm supposed to be doing it, right? The second thing is, there are so many problems that are in the world, and I just refuse to live on earth and live life complaining over and over and over about the same problems and not finding solutions. And I know that that may not be everybody, but I'm a very solution oriented person, and I know that you are as well, because you wouldn't be here if you weren't. But my hope is that you continue to walk with me, but also go ahead of me, and recognize that we all have a job to do. We all have a role to play, and the more we figure, the sooner we figure that out, the more impact that we can have. And so I'm grateful for all of the opportunities. I'm grateful for the challenges. I'm grateful for so many things that I won't necessarily name, because I don't want to make this video any longer than it already is. But I'm also excited about the opportunities. I'm also really, really encouraged about the things that I've seen that are happening collectively in community and collectively across the world, because it's going to take all of us. There's no one person that can solve everything, but we do need people who have ideas. We also need people who are workers. And I've also learned this, right? I'm a great vision caster, can create that, and can put that out there. I can also really, really execute. But what we really need is people in between that can serve, that can show up, that can do the work, that don't want to be out in front, but would be perfect if they just did some data entry, or did some research, or figured out how to make this happen, or figured out how to do this. There are things that we can do that I think will be amazing if we all work together. And so part of what I'm hoping is we do more of that, and recognize that there are opportunities to grow, to build, and to work together. So lastly, I'll say this. Thank you for giving me the space and the opportunity to do this. I don't take this lightly. I'm very grateful and appreciative of the opportunities, and I really hope that you find some way to engage. So whether it is sending me a message, whether it is finding, buying a bag of coffee, whether it is reaching out and saying you want to be one of the gift receivers, whatever it is, I'm grateful for you. Thank you. See you soon.